Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's Ready to Love DMV episode 11 entitled All in the Family. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around. I keep all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. The final four men meet in the gentleman's lounge, and Tommy wants those who are only serious to remain. He informs them that Tina ghosted him and never showed up for a meeting. Paul says to production he's disappointed he could have nurtured more connections. Tina is gone, Carmen is no longer on his radar, and things with DaKia, it might be a little bit too late to connect. Tommy announces the men must introduce their picks to their family. Demetrius says to production that he wants Sabrina to meet his mom, but they need to talk about where they stand. When all is said and done, they need to report it all to Tommy. Cliff meets up with his uncle Maurice and good cousin Diane. Cliff takes family very seriously, so he hopes it all goes well. Joy says to production that she hasn't met anyone's parents in a while, but she's open to it because of Cliff. She's very open to the family. She's often used her career to shadow answering things directly. Things with Cliff seem genuine, and he allowed her to enjoy certain deep conversations. Maurice is curious, though, about how she would feel about if they were serious and something happened to Cliff, a life-changing event. Would she be able to have sole custody or take care of children? Also, Cliff is a workaholic and she's in the entertainment industry. How will those schedules work? Joy explains that that wouldn't be a problem when it comes to kids. She loves children and has even taught children in the past. Also, she's scheduled to leave for Mexico after the process. She travels for 6 months out of the year. The thought brings her to tears, but Cliff's family sees the sincerity. Joy has to leave, and Maurice and Diane tell Cliff that they like her. Communication and the distance will be a challenge. Donovan and Sabrina meet, and things are awkward. There really hasn't been any conversation, but he wants to meet and talk. Sabrina says to production that she's not sure why they're meeting. She feels some type of way after he attacked her character at the last meeting with Tommy. Donovan feels that Sabrina doubted his presence, but he always communicated. He took the process seriously. He wouldn't go through it if he wasn't ready to love. He remained consistent and honest, but she hasn't, not even with Demetrius. Donovan says to production that she complains about the chaos, but created a lot of it that she speaks of. Sabrina says to production that Donovan is sitting there like a little baby, and I don't know how to engage because he's being childish. The ego of some of these men is interesting. They can't handle when a woman has multiple connections. She tells him, things changed when you told me that if I didn't make a decision between you and Demetrius, then you would move on to Carmen. I mean, that's how I felt. Donovan says to production, wow, she's such a liar. She's fabricating a lot of things she's saying, and it's really starting to turn my interest away from even being here at this point. He tells her that he's moving forward with Carmen, and she falls in line with what he wants. Sabrina says to production that I don't know why he's rolling his eyes and cleaning his dirty nails, because I know I'm right. I didn't do anything to him. His friend Phil was right about everything that he said about him. He's an a-hole. Paul meets with DaKia for another date. He wants to clarify some things that were said at the last meeting with Tommy. He says that he and Carmen had a private conversation. She wanted to know what types of things he liked physically in women, and if DaKia does that for him. He says that she turned his words around to mean something else because it wasn't her business how he felt about DaKia. DaKia says that she didn't believe anything that Carmen said, and supposedly she messed up a sure thing with Eric. Where does he stand with Carmen? I mean, I know you don't want to talk about other women, but if you want something like Carmen, then I'm not the woman for you. Her curves are fine, but mine fall in line at the gym. Her curves will fine-tune on the surgeon's table. Paul says to production that the two women, they're totally different. Carmen is superficial and DaKia is very calm, and she has a nice demeanor. He tells DaKia that it's late in the game, but he wants to continue to get to know her. He knows that things won't happen overnight, but also he's open open to her meeting his family members. DaKia says to production that it's a stretch, but she's down for it. Paul is open to the process, but he wants to take things slow with true intentions. Donovan brings his mom to meet Carmen. He's never really introduced anyone to his mom. His mom doesn't think anyone is really good for her son. Carmen arrives with flowers for his mom and Donovan. Carmen says to production that she's excited. Meeting someone's parents, where they came from, it holds a special place. She hopes that his mom likes her. His mom gloats about how he was spoiled rotten and how he has tons of stories and she has tons of stories to share. She even wants to know if she can make a few phone calls. Carmen is here for it all and allows Donovan to blush with embarrassment, although his mom is open to kinder conversation. Carmen and his mom share transparency conversations. Growing up, it was just Carmen and her mom. She wore secondhand clothes, and when she got something new, she was so excited. When it comes to Carmen's son, he hasn't seen his dad for almost 8 years. Donovan's mom understands that it's the father's loss, and Donovan not having his dad around was rough. She understands that Carmen is very careful about who she brings around her son. Donovan says to production that I think she likes Carmen because she's going back on a lot of the things that she said. His mom is so excited that she wants to exchange numbers with Carmen and meet again. Carmen says to production that I really like his mom. She's feisty and fun. I even think my son will like her. I mean, he already has a grandma, but there's nothing like having two. Donovan and Carmen kiss before she leaves, and he takes a moment to chat with his mom. She likes Carmen and she's strong in what she wants. She thinks that Carmen is a winner. Don't let her go and hold on to that one. Donovan says to production that he's taking his mom's advice, but of course the final decision is up to him. He doesn't want to rush anything and they have time to grow. Demetrius and Sabrina meet, and Demetrius says to production that when he looks at her, he starts smiling, and it's time for her to meet his family. They cheers to new beginnings. Sabrina says to production that I shared my concerns with Demetrius, and when I choose someone, it needs to be with who I want. She tells him that she wants to be honest and where she stands. She believes that they share a lot when it comes to life alignments, building generational wealth when it comes to having children, not being materialistic, and so on. She has more concerns, though, about power dynamic. Demetrius agrees. You threw me off, Sabrina, when you mentioned to Tommy that you think I want someone that's submissive, when we already had a talk about that. That's not what I want. Sabrina says that she still feels that way and stands by what she says. But he wants to know, why are you still feeling that way? Where are you getting that idea from again? She continues saying, because, you're a leader and you can sometimes carry your career life into your love life. That's what I meant when I said that to Tommy. Demetrius laughs it off and says, oh, okay, I'm thinking you mean barefoot and pregnant somewhere, can't do anything. That's crazy. She also mentions that, when I get married, I don't even want to take the last name of the guy. But Demetrius is confused. Isn't that the natural thing to do, to take the man's last name? She explains that in her last marriage, she didn't take her ex's last name either. Demetrius is happy to breathe, and at least they've talked it out. Now they can move on. Everything has been discussed. He even invites her to meet his family. While he's asking, Sabrina doesn't seem too excited. She says they're not there yet and they need to be in a stronger place. Paul invites his younger brother to meet DaKia. DaKia explains that she's a strong presence in her daily career, but doesn't want to lead at home. She's not looking for a man, but she's open to receiving love. His brother says to Paul that he has a habit of holding on to certain relationships too long instead of letting things go. Paul explains that he was just trying to give people a chance to grow and change, but it backfired in the past. His brother gives an analogy of a driver and one giving directions. They both must trust one another. DaKia says to production that she gets friend vibes from Paul and doesn't want to force anything, but now it's feeling forced. Paul's brother thinks that DaKia is wonderful and explains after she leaves, she had a lot of textbook answers. He's only there for it all if it's genuine. Paul says to production that maybe she will be more vulnerable in the future. Is back in the lounge with the fellas, and it's the last gentleman's lounge. Demetrius says to production that it's sad he's still not clear when it comes to certain things with Sabrina. He wants to hear from all of the guys how things went. Cliff starts out by explaining that Joy met his uncle and cousin. They enjoyed her presence, but her career is very demanding, being gone for 6 months out of the year. But he feels that they can grow and push through it. Paul says that his brother thought that DaKia was amazing, but Tommy wants to know, what does he think of DaKia? And what is it about DaKia that breaks her away from everyone else? He says because she's straightforward and the other ones weren't. Tommy wants to know if that's the case. Why did it take so long? Paul gets a little defensive while speaking to production that it's about quality over quantity, right? That was the challenge, and that's what I did. Tommy tells Paul that he's watching him, and Paul responds by saying, well, get yourself some popcorn and Gatorade because it's going to be a long ride. Donovan talks about meeting with Sabrina. There was some resistance, and she didn't take accountability for anything. She would always go back and forth and tip for tat without a final decision. But he's moved on to Carmen. Most importantly, his mom even liked her. There's a good connection and it's organic. Demetrius explains that Sabrina didn't want to meet his family, and he understood, but not really. Tommy wants Demetrius to talk to Sabrina again and get more clarity. If she didn't want to meet the family and take it to the next step, then what's next? It would have my feelings feeling weird that she didn't want to meet my family and we've come this far. Next week, the heat turns up one last night, and that's all I will say. He even tells Paul that he better not be lying about anything. Demetrius meets with Sabrina, and he says to production, I have no idea how this will all go or what to say to break the ice to get to the serious things. She compliments the kind text messages he would send to her in order to get her days started off right. He orders a few dishes and drinks, and they say grace over dinner. He lets her know that he's filled in Tommy about the concerns and the decline about meeting his family, and he respects her feelings. She said that her father told her that don't bring a guy to me until it's serious, someone you want to marry. So I don't do that. I even feel like our connection isn't what it was, and I'm taking myself out of the process. This completely shocks Demetrius as everything seemed to be going well. They communicated, and he was under the assumption that they were moving forward. He wishes her well in the future, but lets her know that he's been with her from the beginning and even to this end. Sabrina says to production that I'm making the best decision for myself, and certain concerns that I have, I wouldn't let those go. He thinks that we can just work through them, but I can't work through them. It's red flags or signs to me. Demetrius says to production that during the process, I got blinded by what people were saying. And when I saw certain things, I didn't pay attention to it. And I even looked over it. Moving forward, I need to go with my gut more. And that is the end of the episode. Next time on the season finale of Ready to Love, the ladies now introduce the fellas to their families. DaKia's mom wants to know how Paul feels about children. She wants some grandbabies. Donovan shares he's stepped out on his marriage, and that's what caused the divorce. Cliff shares that he's human, and honestly, he's not happy with Joy's career, and being away is something that he doesn't like. It's the final couples to make a decision if they will move forward in a committed relationship or by themselves. Cliff knows that Carmen will be away for a long time, but he really wants to make things work. And now it is time for your favorite part of the video. That's right, my review. Every week, y'all, every week I'm right. People have not agreed with me all season, and everything that I've said has happened. It has happened. Now look, I am not the type of reviewer that jumps on bandwagons and is like, I'm team such and such and I'm team such and such, until I feel pretty confident about what I'm seeing is having a domino effect. to everything else. Now, for those of you that were team DaKia, look, I'm team everybody, okay? I don't have anything against anyone. But you know, when you see certain behaviors and you hear certain things and people move a certain way, you can kind of see that certain audiences move towards DaKia. Team DaKia, she's classy, she's sassy, she's great. And people are team Carmen, she's this, she's that. And people are team, I get it, right? But when it comes to bringing up the facts about fan faves, people's feathers get ruffled, even if you bring receipts. So let me start with DaKia, right? DaKia, I don't know if it's production that forced you to try to make certain connections and certain things. Let's be real. Even though something unfortunate happened between you and Eric and only you and him know what happened, right? We both know, all of us know that was who you was really digging. That, you know, everybody else that was there, they were friend zoning you. They really didn't see you like that. And then Eric came along and it was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And Cliff was digging you, but you knew that he was really digging Joy from the jump, early in the process. So once Eric was gone, you said to Tommy that you were open still to the journey and dating other people, which is cool. That's part of the show. But we see the body language. We see the null and void between you and other people. And as those men were leaving, you should have self-eliminated yourself, sis. It wouldn't have made you a failure if you knew that even though it was something bad that happened between you and Eric, or whatever the case may be, whatever allegedly happened, that you could have said, I'm not digging anybody else here, peace out. So I don't know if it was production that tried to keep you there to kind of force this thing between you and Paul. Because, you know, you always say, you know, he's a mystery man, whatever, but that was just somebody you were open to because it wasn't really that many of y'all left. When you and Paul, I've said this from the jump, met and would talk, you had no kind of flirting energy. It was just like you was just talking to him like a homie. And in this episode, sis, we saw the truth. We saw the truth hit you because it was getting to the serious part of the season. Meeting families, meeting friends, meeting whoever, right? And you was like, oh snap, you know, he's serious. He's willing to keep going with me, and you're entertaining it, right? It even got to the point of maybe of a little bit misleading Paul. You know, I don't know if Paul is, you know, feeling some type of way because Carmen blasted the truth. You know, I really do think that she was telling the truth about certain things that he said. I do believe that he was talking about, you know, what he's attracted to, and maybe DaKia didn't fall into that. I don't think he's ever going to admit to that. What adds on to why I think that he might have said that was because after that day, he just leaped into DaKia. He just like, you know what I mean? It was like the flirting and all that stuff was, I don't know. It just seemed like Paul was looking at his losses with Tina. And then he was just like, okay, I was kind of liking DaKia too. Let me see if I can force this. It all felt forced. It's no shade. Paul, you and I know that there's nothing there, right? This could be a homie you could call on the weekend and y'all go kick it. I don't see anything. What it is to be, it sounds like production pushing something because it was getting down to the last, and it's just like, well, dang, the people that are left, they really not connecting. And if they all go, we don't have any more episode. We don't have any more season. We don't have anything else to film if everybody's leaving, right? So DaKia, when the ish was hitting the fan and he's like, oh, I want you to meet my family, I want you to meet blah blah blah, it was like reality hit you real hard. Then you started to be honest and saying, oh, you know, this feels forced and I don't know about meeting the family. So it's kind of like a couple of people instigated themselves when it came to the truth, when it came to just accepting that they weren't vibing with anybody. So I've been saying this from the jump that DaKia, even if that situation didn't happen with Eric was feeling Carmen more. It's just the truth. I'm sorry. It was just the truth. Had nothing ever happened between y'all two, I don't think it would have blossomed into what you thought. Because of all the other episodes. I mean, these are receipts. I mean, people that are team DaKia, I mean, hey, let's just look at the reality. Y'all know that she wasn't vibing with Paul like that. Paul ain't really vibing with nobody either. He mad at Tina. Had Tina showed up, it would have been like, DaKia who, right? And I don't really think that Donovan, when we come into Donovan, like with each show, when it comes down to the last few people, a lot of people are like, oh, that's the default. Oh, they're just picking that person because everybody else is gone. When we talk about Donovan and his connections with certain people, like he was digging Carmen, Tina, and Sabrina. Donovan started to figure out how Sabrina would be flippy floppy with her words. I said this episodes ago, y'all. I was so right in saying that Sabrina wants to psychoanalyze everybody. And I said she seems like she self-sabotages a lot when it comes to meeting guys, relationships, because everything is cool and she finds these little things and makes it more into something else. I said that when it comes to men and how they feel, if they're expressing it and they're genuine and they're telling you, hey, this is how I'm feeling, you can only take a person's word for what they're telling you. And it comes from living and experience if you're going to trust that person's word. That's what trust and development, that's how all of that builds. Everything was cool with Donovan. You was ready to jump his bones, a couple of episodes ago. Everything was Demetrius. You chew his ear off, but it was just like, he's telling me, Donovan is telling me he's ready, but I don't think he is. Okay. You thought Demetrius wanted somebody that's submissive, and this man is telling you to your face, I don't want that. Then you bring it up again to Tommy. Then you bring it up again when he wants to meet with you for lunch. Then you bring it up again. So it's just like, even at the getaway, you were like, well, I want you to do this and I want you to do that. And it's like you were expecting perfection of a person that you're still getting to meet. It's impossible for somebody that you're still trying to grow and learn from, that you expect them to know your brain and how you think and how everybody, it's like, it's really kind of something, not trying to, no shade, but something that you would need individual counseling for, because you can't mold people. It's not a Build-A-Bear man, right? We can't, I wish, hey, if that worked, everybody will be building the person that they're with. That's not the way humans work. Nobody's going to be perfect. You barely know any of these men, just like the men barely know any of the women. That is the progression, right? That is the whole point, to get somebody to start dating, to blah, 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 evolve into relationship. You want everything to be perfection. and that's just impossible, sweetie. But with Donovan, this man was telling you, hey, I'm ready. I'm here. I'm serious. I'm looking for something solid. And you didn't believe it. Just went one ear and out the other. Now with Demetrius, like I said, I've said that I don't think he's turned in his player's card, and maybe he thinks he's ready, but I don't think he's ready. But I hadn't been talking to the man like you have. I haven't been going on dates with him. But he's been a different person since getting to know you. He seems more genuine. He seems more, I'm putting all the cards on the table. This is what it is. And you could see the disappointment on his face, because he's like, wow, I was open. I was trying to be open, but y'all just weren't clicking in certain things because y'all were both playing games with each other. Demetrius got a boomerang of maybe things, ways that he acted, and he finally met somebody that he really liked, and it backfired. With you, I honestly think that you toyed with two men knowing that it wasn't working. You wanted to see who you can mold and who you could build a bear with. And when they didn't fold, that ruffles your feathers. I also see that you're nice nasty, as Iyanla Van Zant would say. Nice nasty, meaning you paint this picture of this nice person, but you're really kind of nasty behind the scenes. And the messiness, and you saying, oh, and Phil is right, that you're an a-hole, and that, knowing that's his best friend, that was messy boots. You are awarded some boots that are messy. Wear your boots with pride. They are messy boots. Carmen, whether you like her or not, she did this whole process the way it's supposed to be done. She communicated, she flirted, she let people know that she was interested, and moved on, right? Because a lot of the times in the show, a lot of the complaints that we have is, you didn't show me you were interested, you didn't communicate. And that's what Carmen did. So I don't know if people don't like her. I just don't. I can't understand why people don't like her. I mean, I already explained it in my other reviews that why I don't have an issue with her. I don't have an issue with Carmen. I like Carmen. And, if sit down and think about why you don't like her. Let's talk about Joy. I said several episodes ago that people just swept under the rug. Joy and Cliff make a great couple, but I think with her being on the road, her being away, his jealousy, she has a little microaggression anger that we've seen when she thought she was going to be eliminated. People forgot about that, but I didn't. But I honestly think that they would be good nutty buddies. They like the candy. And they grown. They can do what they want to do. But with the distance, she's not going to give up her career with the singing, apparently, because she's going to leave for 6 months. And, he wants to be with her. He really wants to make it work. It would take her to kind of change her lifestyle and career in order for that to work. He's a workaholic. She's gone all the time. They may just be spirits and connections that it's just that, and their careers are above all. And, hey, maybe they can make it work. But I've said from the jump with their careers and her being gone and all of this, I don't think that will work long term. If it works, great, good for them. But I've been saying it from the beginning. He got kids. He work all the time. She grown 6 months out of the year. Somebody gonna have to give something up in order for that to work. And I don't know. But Sabrina, you showed your booty on this one. I was waiting. I was like, ooh, when is the real Sabrina gonna come? I don't know. But let me know what you think. All I can say, I've been right this whole entire time. I have not been wrong. I have said from the jump that Donovan and Carmen would make the perfect connection, right? They would make the perfect connection because I feel that Donovan wouldn't be intimidated by Carmen's career and who she deals with on a daily basis. And I feel that he has that personality and charisma that blends with Carmen, because Paul wasn't meant for Carmen. I already said that. He wasn't enough. He wasn't, her sass and pizzazz mixed with Paul, kind of timid, not really speaking, and him being a jerk from the beginning. Y'all forgot about that, how he was talking like he was insane, and y'all forgot about that. Y'all forgot about how Paul should have been gone a long time ago. Y'all forget, y'all get amnesia about a lot of stuff, but I don't. And let me talk about this before I go. So before y'all get to yipping and yapping about, the way Donovan sits and holding his head to the side and all that. For all of you who've ever taken a body language class in college, his body language tells a lot. Usually when people hold their head down or they clutch their hands and they look down, it can be one of several things. One, that they're trying to suppress anger, or they're trying to control their feelings and their thoughts in order to be tentative in the situation, or this could just be the natural body language of someone. And I think it was a mixture of both. If you've paid attention in a lot of the episodes, Donovan has a habit of kind of swinging his head, tilting it to the side, holding it to the side, looking at the ground. That's just his not natural body language. And for her to say, oh, he's, acting like a baby, and he's holding his hand like a baby, and he's picking his nails, I think that was just his natural body language. But you could kind of see that he did a really, really good job of not popping off. You know what I'm saying? If she's saying things that he feels that are fabricated or not, and are not true, and he's trying to, look elsewhere and, look at his hands and all that, I really do think it was a mixture of natural body, language, the way he holds his body, the way he tilts his head, the way he kind of looks away, maybe, with direct contact, conversation and looking eye to eye. And then also the mixture of the whole situation getting on his nerves and listening to her. Everybody has their own characteristics. I could break down every person in this cast and natural body language that they have, and how they hold their head, or how they talk, or lick their lips, or pluck at their mustache or their beard. Like, everybody has natural things that they do that you may not notice, but I've noticed with him, with the body language and her mentioning things like that, and the way that he talks, and he naturally talks, and throughout this whole season, even when he was introduced, he's been kind of sitting like that and tilting his head and all that stuff. So yeah. To own Network and Discovery Plus, don't stretch out the season like this no more. This could have been 6 episodes and a two-part reunion special, which would have made the full season 8 episodes. Y'all could have done that, but I've been saying that this whole season. I said that season before that and the season before that. Let me know what you think. I'm ready for the reunion. Get this season finale, which took 2 years to get here. You already know they're going to split the reunion into 2 parts, which doesn't need it, because nothing really happened like that at all this season. It was super dry, made me extra thirsty. Y'all leave y'all comments below. In the meantime, in between time, Lord, they getting on my nerves. In the meantime, in between time, y'all make sure y'all check out other series. Make sure that you check out the new season of Atlanta, the Emmy award-winning show, season 3. Make sure that you binge watch all those episodes this weekend. Catch up, join the conversations, and also Inventing Anna, the Netflix original series. Make sure that you check that out. And The Girl Before, the HBO mini series of The Girl Before. Check that out. It's a short mystery series, so I think you'll like that. Remember to comment, like this video, subscribe. In the meantime, in between time, remember to take care of yourself and each other. Bye.